Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining today. We're going to give just a couple more seconds here, let people filter in, and then we'll get started. Feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. If there's anything specific you want to learn today, throw that in there as well, and I'll try and cover it for you. All right, we have a fair amount of people logged in already and a lot of content to cover today, so I'm going to get started. So thanks again for joining. My name's Shay Darlison. I've been with Rise Vision for the past 11 years. I'm going to be your presenter today. And I just want to quickly cover our agenda. I'm going to start with a brief overview of Rise Vision, who we are and what we do, in case there's anybody new here. And then after that, our focus is going to be all on our enterprise tier. So because this webinar is very focused on our enterprise tier, it will be only covering a narrow slice of what's possible with Rise Vision. But given that, if you are brand new to Rise Vision, I would definitely suggest supplementing this webinar with either our free weekly training, or if you're considering buying Rise Vision, I would definitely recommend a one-on-one demo with a member of our sales team. And I will add a link to the chat where you can access our weekly training right there. And if you are interested in a demo, just click that big green button in the top corner. All right, this webinar is going to be fairly fast-paced, but we will send out a recording. So if you miss something in the moment, don't worry about it. You'll get a recording. You can always refer back to it later. So on the screen right here is all of the different functionality in the enterprise tier that we're going to cover. And then there's going to be a little bonus slide about our new touchscreen digital signage solutions. I'll talk about that. We'll leave time at the end for Q&A, and then I'm going to talk about 2 offers that we have available until the end of the year. So for some quick background on Rise Vision, we are one of the top-rated digital signage software solutions. We've been in business helping organizations improve communication since 1992, and we now help thousands of organizations around the world communicate, collaborate, and teach. This is an overview of Rise and everything that we offer. We're definitely best known for our easy-to-use digital signage software, but we also offer screen sharing, emergency alerts, and as of a few weeks ago, interactive touchscreen digital signage solutions. We're going to discuss all of these today. We also offer pre-configured media players, all-in-one displays that come with a media player built in, touchscreen displays now. And then beyond the software and the hardware, we have a world-class support team that responds within 1 business hour. And we are hardware agnostic. So if you don't want to use one of our pre-configured devices, you can always bring your own devices. We run on a ton of different operating systems. We offer 3 pricing tiers at Rise Vision: Basic, Advanced, and Enterprise. Today's webinar is going to be completely focused on this 3rd column, our Enterprise tier. And so with that, we are going to dive right in. So up first, we're going to be talking about enterprise license management. I'm going to just navigate to that page in my demo account here. So to get to this page, you're going to go to your settings in the left-hand menu, and then click over to companies and licenses. Enterprise license management is Rise Vision's way for a parent, so top-level company, to centrally control and distribute licenses across all of the sub-companies in its network. So instead of each sub-company buying licenses and managing its own licenses, or the parent company buying licenses and then them being distributed without controls, an enterprise, or if you're in K-12, unlimited subscription, allows you to assign licenses down to your sub-companies from our companies and licenses page. So the key idea here is you have one organization-wide pool of licenses that you can allocate to your sub-companies as needed. So this is a great feature for when you really want to control how your licenses are allocated across departments in a university, schools in a district, franchises, or different locations within a corporation. It's flexible for all of those different use cases. So to use the feature, you're going to go Settings, Companies and Licenses, and then turn on Assign Licenses manually. Once that's turned on, in this area, you're able to see all of the companies in your network. So you can see here, I have a parent account called Demo, and then I have a sub-company called Elementary School, and below that account, I have another sub-company. So with the enterprise license management, I'm able to allocate licenses to these accounts. And this way, I know exactly how many licenses each account is going to have. And when I'm happy with the allocation, I just click save and it's now been updated. And if you ever want to change the allocation in the future, it's very easy to do. You come in here and just adjust it like you would before and click save again. So that is the enterprise license management feature. Up next, I'm going to talk about our content publishing approval workflow. Okay, so I'm now logged in to the demo account, same demo account, but under a different user. This user only has the content editor permissions, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. So with the content publishing approval workflow, what this allows is if you are an enterprise or unlimited customer, you can set up a workflow that stays in Rise Vision for reviewing and approving changes. So when a user with the content editor role makes changes to a presentation, those changes will stay in draft and cannot go live until a user with the content publisher role reviews them and either publishes or requests changes. So this is a powerful feature when you want stronger controls over what appears on your screens and you want a more scalable process for approvals that doesn't require editors and publishers to notify each other outside of Rise Vision. So there's no needing to send a Teams message, hey, can you review this presentation, or send an email. It's all built in to Rise Vision. So in this window, I am logged in as an editor, and I'm going to just make a change to this presentation. So I'm going to delete an image. And you can see it was saying published, and now it's going to save this presentation, and it's going to say draft. Now these changes are in draft mode. And because I'm an editor, I can't publish this presentation. What I can do is send it for review. So I'll click that send for review button. And then here I'm able to see all of the users in the account that have the content publisher role. So these are the people that I can ask to review my changes and publish it. I'm going to select this user. And then I'm able to add some comments. So I might say, I removed the Thanksgiving image. And you please, and then send for review. Now an email has gone out to that person, and they are being notified that there's something that needs to be reviewed. So I'm going to switch the screen I'm sharing again and show you what that email looks like. Okay, so as the publisher now, this is the email that I would have received. So it lets me know who has submitted a presentation for review, what presentation has been changed, the date that it was submitted, and I'm able to see the comments here with an easy link to review that presentation. So I will show you what that looks like here in a second. Switching screen. This is a fun feature to demo. You have to do a lot of bouncing around. There we go. Now I'm logged in another window as a publisher. So here you can see this user is the publisher in the account. And I'm just going to refresh this page. And so now I can see that this presentation is pending review. So the status changed from published to draft, and now it is pending review. So I'm able to open this up and I can take a look and see, okay, they took out an image. Perfect. And maybe if someone removed the wrong image, what you can do is click request changes. And so this now lets you know that the editor sent this presentation for review, let them know what changes they need to make again. So maybe I could say you actually removed the Christmas image. Please add it back. And then I would click the request changes button, and an email would be sent to the editor so that they could be informed that they need to make another round of revisions. Or if everything looks good and I'm happy with it, I can click publish on this presentation. And now the state of the presentation has changed from pending review to published again. All right, I'm going to go back to my demo account and show you the company settings here. You can see how to configure this. So in your company settings, to use this feature, what you'll need is at least one user that has the content editor role. So I'll open up this user. You can see they have the content editor role there. It can also have other roles, and then one user with the publisher. So here you can see this person is the approval. And then another setting that you can configure for this, which is under the company settings tab right here, is this one here, allow sub-company reviews. So let's say that you are a business and you have managers at different locations throughout the country that manage a digital sign in that location. But you want your corporate headquarters marketing person to review their changes before they go live. The way that you might want to structure your account is that the corporate HQ marketer is in your parent level account and the local managers are in separate sub companies. And then you'll turn on this checkbox, and that would allow the local manager to request that marketing reviews their changes. So this enables a user in a sub company to ask a user in a parent company to review their changes. So that's one of the use cases where this might come into play. All right. So this is the content publishing approval workflow feature in full. Next up, I'm going to talk about emergency alert overrides. I'm just going to open up a display settings here. So emergency alert overrides, or classroom alerts is another way that this is referred to, is Rise Vision's emergency alert capability for a display that isn't primarily used for digital signage. So this feature is different from our typical emergency alerts. You would use our typical emergency alerts on displays where all they do is show Rise Vision all day long. With the override alerts, it is used when you have a display where Rise Player isn't typically running in the foreground or isn't the current input. So some common places where this feature is used by our customers are classrooms with projectors, TVs, or interactive displays that are primarily used for teaching. And a secondary use case is emergency messaging or just general messaging. And then the other one is corporate meeting rooms that are primarily used for collaboration or conferencing. And the secondary use case would be emergency messaging. So when this checkbox right here on a display is enabled, a device that is running Rise Player can receive an alert via like a schedule override, or through the common alert protocol, CAP alerts, this left-hand menu item, that feature there. And when this box is checked, whatever is happening on the TV at that point in time is going to be interrupted and the emergency alert will show. So if you're in a classroom and a teacher is teaching and they're using a whiteboard application on an interactive flat panel, and this feature is turned on, what's going to happen is that whiteboarding session is going to be stopped and the emergency alert will take over. So what makes this feature special is that Rise Vision is going to force the screen to actually show the alert, even if it's not active. So we will send HDMI CEC commands to wake the TV or switch the HDMI input to start showing that alert content right away. So this feature is very powerful for shutting down the collaboration, conferencing, teaching, whatever is happening on that TV to show that emergency alert message. Now, to get the benefit of this feature, you need to be using Rise Vision on Windows or Android. The feature is currently supported on those two operating systems. And then your media player and display need to support HDMI CEC. The other device that you can use this on is Apple TV. The setup is a little bit different and it requires that you use an MDM like Jamf, but there is a Help Center article that covers exactly how to use this in our Help Center. It's also important that you really want to make sure that the device you're using supports CEC so that we're able to switch the inputs correctly. All right. So that is how the emergency alert overrides feature works. Next, I'm going to talk about sharing content across your network and two different ways to do that. So the first is sharing custom templates across your network. So I will open up a presentation here, and then I'm going to open up one of my sub companies in a separate window. So here I'm in my parent account demo, and I have this presentation that I've created. So this is custom design that I made using a few different playlist components and then a background that I created in Canva. So sharing custom templates across your network means taking a presentation that you've designed in your parent company and saving it as a shared template, and then making that template available to all of the users in all of the sub companies within your network. So this is a great feature for when you want to standardize content and speed up content creation across multiple locations. So you can create one parent design and it can be copied everywhere. Your sub companies are going to be starting right away with an approved structure, styling, maybe some approved elements. And if you're bringing on a new site, they can get started more quickly because they're going to start from pre-approved content. And the sub companies can customize their copy of this presentation without impacting the original. So it's going to be making a copy of the presentation. So to use this feature, you can pick any presentation in your account, and then you're going to click the three dots right here. Once you do that, you're going to click Save Presentation as Template. Once you've saved that presentation as a template, it's now available for your sub companies to add. And the way that they will do that is from the presentations page, they will click Add Presentation. And then here, they will click Shared Templates. And when that filter is turned on, you can see it has the same title as the presentation in that other screen. And when I click Add, this presentation is now added into my account. So it's a copy of that original. So now I'm able to edit this copy without those edits impacting the original. And I'm able to start from a pre-approved design. And what's nice about this feature, especially when you pair it with the content publishing approval workflow, is your sub companies will be starting from an approved design. And then if they make changes, those changes still are going to be reviewed by your central content managers, your marketing communications people, or someone like that within your organization. So a very powerful feature when combined with that other one for maintaining brand standards and consistency across all of your digital signage. All right. So that is everything on sharing custom templates across your network. Next up, we're going to talk about scheduling overrides across your network. So I'm going to open up one of my schedules here. Okay, so I have a schedule open, and we're going to talk about this feature right here, override. So scheduling overrides across your network means creating a schedule that sits on top of a display's normal default regularly scheduled programming so that you can show different content for a defined time window without changing that default programming. Override schedules can be sent to many displays at once in your own company, but when you have an enterprise or unlimited license, you're also able to set the distribution of the schedule. So right here, the distribution to displays that are in your sub companies so that you can push consistent content across your entire network. So there are two override modes. There is replace, which completely replaces the default schedule during the override window. So this is best for if you have a really high priority or urgent message that everyone needs to see, and you don't want them to see other content when it is playing. The second type is the include. So the way that this works is it adds extra content alongside the default schedule during the override window that you set. So this is great for, let's say in a school district, you have like a message from the superintendent, or in a company, you have corporate HR that wants to mix in some of their HR messages with local content at all of your various locations across the country. So they don't want to like completely override the local content managers. They just want to make sure that their content is also added into the mix and it's rotating back and forth between the two. So that is when you would use this include option. So the way that this works for pushing it to your sub-company displays is you'll click the distribution, and then you'll want to make sure that this box is checked, which lets you select displays from all of your companies. So you can see here, the way that I've configured this is I have one display in my parent account that is selected, and then I have all of the displays in my sub company selected. So now this content will be put into the mix in both the high school company and the elementary school company. So this is a great way to distribute content from your parent to your sub companies, similar to the custom templates, but it's a little bit different because your sub companies won't be able to change this in any way. So this makes sure that it's delivered exactly as you designed it to your sub company displays. And that is how scheduling overrides works. Next up, we are going to talk about screen sharing. So I'm going to show a slide for this and then a little demo. So screen sharing in Rise Vision lets you wirelessly share the screen from a computer, tablet, or phone directly to a Rise Vision display. And when that sharing session ends, the display goes back to its regular signage automatically. So you can think about this similar to a Chromecast or AirPlay or Miracast, that sort of feature that are common in like an Apple TV, Google TV, and some smart TVs now. So screen sharing is a really fast, easy way to use Rise Vision to instantly present live content in a meeting room, a classroom, collaboration space, onto a TV, an interactive screen, or a projector. What's nice about the Rise Vision screen sharing is it works across networks. So if you have a guest network and an employee network, or a student network and a staff network, it doesn't matter which network your screen sharing device is on and which network the people that want to share are on, it will work across the networks. It also has some built-in controls for security. So there are PIN codes that you can use. You can require that people are authenticated to screen share. And then there's also a moderator mode that is very powerful in education for if you're a teacher and you want to be able to invite a student to share and then remove them from sharing. So there's lots of controls available for allowing specific people to share and others not to share. The other benefit of the Rise Vision screen sharing is you're not locked in to a specific hardware vendor. It will work on just about any device. So you don't need to buy expensive proprietary hardware. This can run on the Rise Vision Media Player, on an Amazon Signage stick, on a Windows PC, a Linux PC, Chromeboxes. Your options are pretty limitless here. And it can all be managed through the Rise Vision CMS, just like your Signage. So our customers are commonly using screen sharing to upgrade legacy solutions in classrooms and meeting rooms like Barcode Click Share, Microsoft Display Adapters, Chromecast, ScreenBee Immersive, to standardize on Rise Vision for both screen sharing, signage, and emergency alerts. I've also seen customers use it to expand the functionality of projectors. So some of the newer projectors come with a built-in screen sharing feature that just doesn't have a moderator mode, for example, or some of the controls that Rise Vision offers. And so by plugging in an inexpensive media player to that projector, you give it a lot more functionality. And then the third thing that I'm seeing is a lot of customers have old interactive flat panels where the onboard computer, the system on chip computer, has aged and it's become quite slow now, but the actual TV itself still works okay. And so what they'll do is buy a low-cost media player and plug it into the back of that display to give it increased computing power and more functionality and extend the life of that device. So in terms of how to enable screen sharing, I'll go back to my demo account here. And the way that you're going to enable the screen sharing is go to your displays. So I have the display here, and I want to turn it on. And under the screen sharing tab, you're just going to select either the standard mode or the moderator mode. So for the purposes of this demo, I'm just going to use the standard mode because just myself to share. And I just want to share by entering the pairing code. I'm not going to require that anyone is authenticated or that there's like a PIN to confirm the sharing. And you can see that I have showed the session code on screen. So right now I set up this presentation to have it show up in 2 places. This is completely optional. Most customers just have it show up in 1. I was just messing around in this presentation earlier, so that's why it's showing up in 2. And so you can see here, there is a code showing on that screen now. I'm just going to refresh the screenshot. And so to share to this device, you're going to go apps, or even easier, you can just go risevision.com/join. And that takes you to this page where it says, okay, enter your session code. What I will do is enter Kitty and Arthur. And then it asks for your name. And then you can click start sharing. And then from here, you can pick which tab you want to share. So you can see I've started sharing this slideshow and the content changed right behind me. And I can go back and forth in this slideshow and it will keep changing on the TV behind me. So this feature, super easy to use, very secure as well for different environments, like in an office or a school where you want more control over who is able to access the screen sharing. Works across networks, doesn't require any proprietary hardware. You can use it probably on devices that you already have, and it'll work on lots of different types of displays like projectors, TVs, or interactive displays. And that is how the Rise Vision screen sharing works. All right. So just a couple more features to go. Next up, we are going to talk about Power BI. So Power BI is Microsoft's business intelligence and data visualization platform. Customers frequently use Power BI to show metrics that need to be updated automatically and at some regular, relatively fast cadence. So they sales data, production data, service queues, safety stats, that sort of thing. So this is a very easy feature to use within Rise Vision. From presentations, you're going to click Add Presentation and then search for Power, and right there, Power BI. Now I already have a copy of this added in my account, so I'm just going to navigate over to that one. From there, you'll click the component, and then you need to authenticate with your Microsoft account. Once you've done that, you are able to select either a report or a dashboard. You can pick the workspace, the specific report or dashboard that you want to show, and then the refresh rate. So there are 4 different refresh rates available. Once you're happy with how it's configured, you'll click the Publish button and then schedule the presentation to your display. It's a very easy feature to see. The other feature is similar to this, but for services that are not Power BI, is our authenticated web pages. So with this feature, you are able to show web pages that require a login, so username and password to view. And we don't already have an integration. So this web page presentation can display these private password protected pages by letting you put your credentials into the component here. This will only work on pages that can be embedded in an iframe, and it won't work if your login requires 2-factor authentication. So there are some caveats there, but this is a great feature to show things like KPI dashboards, Trello or project management boards, business intelligence tools like Domo or Clipfolio, staff portals, that sort of thing. So in this presentation, I have a web page, and I'll copy that link and open it in a new tab here. And so you can see here that this is a dashboard that requires a username and password to access it. So I'm not able to access this now. In Rise Vision, when you select Allow Authentication, you're prompted to enter your username and your password. And once you save that, you'll then see what the logged in version of that page looks like right here. And you're able to, again, set that refresh interval 5:30 or 60 minutes, and then publish and schedule this to your displays. And you are now able to show your password protected web page on all of your digital signs. That is how authenticated web pages works. Up next, we're going to talk about SSO, so single sign-on. And for that, I'm going to navigate over to the company settings. I went to settings right here, bottom left, and then SSO settings. So single sign-on lets your users log into Rise Vision using the same credentials that they already use for your organization's identity provider. And this works via SAML-based authentication. So Rise Vision supports any SAML IDP. So why our customers use SSO is for simpler access. So users just use the same login, so it reduces password fatigue and login friction. Centralized security control. So if you revoke access in your IDP, then it's automatically revoked in Rise Vision. And then we also have the optional ability to provision users from your IDP into Rise Vision automatically so that you're not managing accounts twice. So the way to configure SSO in Rise Vision is you'll turn on this feature, enter your various fields here, and then if you want to enable SSO provisioning, you'll turn on these settings. And this way you're able to now automatically add users from your single sign-on identity provider and push them into Rise Vision instead of manually adding your users in Rise Vision. So this feature can improve security for your organization and reduce some of the admin time for your IT team. All right, so our last enterprise feature that we're going to talk about today is the Windows Screensaver. So I'm going to leave this page and head over to another display. So Windows Screensaver kind of behaves exactly how it sounds like it would. It allows you to set Rise Vision as a screensaver on a Windows device. So when the screen goes idle on that device, it automatically launches Rise Player and your content as a screensaver. So instead of a blank screen or the default Windows screensaver, your digital signage starts showing after it shows an idle period. This is great for Windows devices that are in meeting rooms or in classrooms. So think on some of the new interactive flat panels that are popular in education. A lot of those manufacturers are moving to an OPS model where you have a slot PC that plugs in rather than an onboard Android computer. So if you're going a Windows route with that, you can use the Windows Screensaver in Rise Vision. In a corporate setting, some of your corporate meeting rooms have Windows devices as well. And when those aren't in use, you can have Rise Vision act as a screensaver on them. So to use this feature, you're going to need the enterprise or unlimited subscriptions. Rise Vision needs to be installed on a compatible Windows device. And then within your Rise Vision account, you're going to go to your displays, select the display that you'd like to enable it on, go to Manage, and then check the Set a Screensaver box. Here you're able to set the idle time. So if you want the screensaver to show after 10 minutes of inactivity, 2 minutes of inactivity, you can set that setting and then click Save. So very easy feature to set up and powerful for a few of those different use cases. And this brings us to the end of all of the enterprise features that I wanted to cover today. I'm going to talk now about our new touchscreen digital signage feature. And then after that, we'll jump over to the Q&A. I can see that there are some questions coming in there, which is awesome. And so I want to leave lots of time to talk through all of those. So this is a new feature. It is not included with the enterprise license. This is called the interactive display license. So it is a new type of license. It's an add-on that unlocks Rise Vision's interactive, so touch digital signage capabilities. With this license, a display gets access to our interactive template library. So we have templates for Hall of Fames, donor walls, directories. They are designed for touch, so you can tap, swipe, get more information, scroll. They work on portrait and landscape, and you manage them through the Rise Vision application that you're all familiar with. So it takes, a typical Rise Vision screen that might be a passive communication and turns it into a touch interactive experience. I'll show you some of these presentations here. So this is one of our more popular ones. This is a Hall of Fame for a school or a university where all of the athletes are in a carousel and you can click and drag to control the content. When you select an athlete, you're able to get some more information like biography and the sport that they were in and the year. You're able to control this content within Rise Vision. So all of the data can be pulled from a spreadsheet or uploaded via CSV and then controlled within here. There are a lot of other templates available. So when you have this license and you click Add Presentation, under Category, select Interactive, and you can see various different presentations here. So for example, if you're in Office, there is an interactive directory available. For some healthcare and nonprofits and universities, donor walls are a popular interactive use case. And many of these can be repurposed for different things. So just this morning was talking about a school that was looking at repurposing this donor wall presentation for trophies. Another school was interested in yearbooks. I've talked to businesses that are interested in the interactive for employee recognition. So think recognizing like your top salespeople or employees with a long tenure at your organization and sharing their stories on these touchscreens. Lots of potential for these presentations for various different use cases. And I'll show you a little bit bigger what this looks like. So here's a larger preview, for example, of this Hall of Fame presentation. Now, with this feature, it can run on a lot of different hardware. We have extensively tested it on our Rise Vision media player and ELO touchscreens, but you can use it with any touchscreen really that you have extra lying around, or if you want to go source one, you can source a different one other than the ELO device. You could use like a Signage, Amazon Signage stick, a Windows media player. It'll run on lots of different hardware. So just like regular Rise Vision, it will work on other things. It will not work on Apple TV. So there's one caveat there. If you're interested in this feature and want to learn more, please contact our sales team. So risevision.com and head over to contact us and just reach out. They can give you a full demo, walk through how this all works and help you purchase this license. All right, so that's it on interactive. So one slide before we get to Q&A. So we have 2 promotions running until the end of the year. Right now, if you buy a Rise Vision media player or an Avicor display, you'll get 15% off your purchase and a 5-year warranty on those devices. So typically these have a 3-year warranty. So right now you're getting 2 extra years. And then we are offering free shipping, and there is a mount included for free with the displays from 43 to 85 inches. The other promotion that we have available, if you're interested in the interactive display license, is you can get 20% off that license until the end of the year. Okay. Thank you for listening to me for the past 40 minutes. I'm excited to start getting through some of your questions here. Okay, so one question was about, is Rise Player compatible with Logitech dedicated Zoom Room hardware? I haven't tested it myself, but we are able to work with Zoom Rooms. There is an article in our help center about how to use Rise Vision with Zoom Rooms. So I would just give it a shot on your Logitech hardware. I don't see why it wouldn't work. I know lots of customers have used Rise Vision with the Zoom Rooms, but I just don't know if it was with different hardware or with Logitech hardware. But the help article is here for that, and I will throw that in the chat for you as well. All right. And then there was a question about if the user with only editor roles ends up changing a presentation while it is scheduled for a display and goes into draft status, will it disable or change the presentation which is live in any way while in that status? So that is a great question. It will not change what is on the display in any way. What's playing on the display is whatever was previously published. So whatever was that last approved state is going to stay on the display. Whatever is in draft or pending review is only going to show in your Rise Vision account. It won't be pushed to the display until someone comes in, approves it, and publishes it again. Okay. There was a question about someone was having a hard time figuring out how to switch my display from offline to active. Often if your display is showing it offline, we do have a few different help articles here that can walk through why this might be happening. So this one, why is my display offline, is a great article to try and troubleshoot some of those common issues. I will put this in the chat for you. I'd take a look at that. Then the other thing that I'd recommend is just reach out to our support team. They are fantastic and they will get back to you really, really fast. So to do that in your Rise Vision account, just click that question mark in the top right-hand corner and then contact us. This will let you create a ticket with our support team. Just let them know that you're having a hard time getting your displays from offline to active, and they'll help you through that issue. And honestly, if you run into any issue with Rise Vision, our support team is amazing. Highly recommend reaching out to them for help. All right. So another question was about the schedule overrides. And it was, If overriding displays for all companies with a presentation and the displays are oriented differently, so portrait versus landscape, will I need to create two different presentations, each specific to the display it will appear on? I would recommend doing that. It will depend a little bit on what you're showing. So if you click this responsive category in Rise Vision, these are templates that are designed to show on either a portrait or a landscape screen, and they will actually adjust to the screen automatically. But let's say you have a video or something like that, like a full screen video, and that video it was designed for landscape. If you schedule it to portrait displays, it's going to be letterboxed on the screen. So the top third will be black, the middle third will show your video, and the bottom third will be black, which just doesn't look as good as if you were to create a video designed specifically for the portrait orientation. So the answer to this is going to be, it depends on the content that you're trying to show. If it's one of these templates, should be fine. If it's something like a video, then I would recommend creating two different presentations and tailoring your content to the aspect ratio that it's going to be shown at. Okay, so there was a question about the interactive license and if it works with iPads. Unfortunately, it does not work with iPads, but I will share that with our product team. It does work with Android tablets, and I have seen people doing that because we do have a player for Android. So I know some organizations are all Apple, and it works really well with the rest of your IT infrastructure. But if Android is an option for you, I would definitely look into Android tablet with the interactive license. And then there was a question about if Rise Vision can interface to Statusgator to show the status of your server's website, et cetera. So that isn't one that I've tested personally, but it is possible. So this is one where it'd be great to reach out to our sales team and they can help you test that so that you can find out if it'll work before you upgrade to the enterprise tier, just to make sure that everything works correctly before you spend any money. All right, I think that is all of the Q&A that has come through so far. Does anybody have any other questions that they'd like covered? Just feel free to throw it in the chat or the Q&A feature. Thank you all for joining today. As I mentioned, I will be sending out the recording of this webinar. So if I went too fast through any of the sections, you'll be able to rewatch. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Happy to answer them. So you can contact our sales team or reach out to our support team through our application. Oh, it does look like one more question came in. So the question was, are you compatible with Amazon Stick? Yes, we are compatible with the Amazon Stick. We are one of their top partners. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody.